This is Saints 4 Takeaways, sponsored by American Men Roofing.
Losing to the Bucs was one thing. They are certainly very easy to hate, but they're also really good. One of the reasons this loss hurts so much is that even though the Panthers were clearly the better team Sunday in Charlotte, it's also clear that Carolina is not going to win a lot of games this season. Losing to one of the NFL's worst teams hurts, and in 3 weeks, the Saints have now dug themselves a hole. According to Football Outsiders, the Saints now have a 36% chance of making the playoffs. The season is far from dead, but it's not looking great 3 weeks in. Let's start our 4 takeaways with 2 guys who are killing it right now. Chris Olave and Pete Werner were terrific Sunday in Charlotte. Olave caught 9 passes for 147 yards. In 3 games, that's 268 receiving yards. There were 13 rookie receivers taken in the first 2 rounds of April's draft. Olave is by far the most productive rookie wideout in the NFL, 7th in the NFL in receiving yards. And Werner has been everywhere this season. He's tied for 4th in the NFL in total tackles through 3 games and number 1 in the league in solo tackles. And look, Werner and the defense are not the problem, and they weren't the problem against the Panthers. Carolina had 6 offensive points through 3 quarters. The Tampa Bay Bucs only had 3 points through 3 quarters. You really should win when the other team is not scoring. At number 3, simply put, the Saints are giving it away right now. Turnovers are football's great equalizer. If you take it away more than you give it away, you are usually going to win. The Saints were -3 in turnover margin against the Panthers. They're -6 on the season. That is the worst in the NFL. You know who leads the NFL right now in turnover margin? It's the most surprising team in the NFL right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars at +7. The top 4 teams in turnover margin this season are a combined 9-3. And then this is the bottom 4 in the NFL, and they're a combined 4-8. To have any hope of turning their season around, the Saints need to get out of that group. At number 2, the quarterback question is coming. He was hurt in the win over Atlanta, and Jameis Winston's numbers in each of the last 2 games have not been good. He is now 26th in the NFL in quarterback rating, and I think the back injury is a huge part of that. I think his willingness to run says it all right now. Last year, in the first 3 games of the season, Winston ran for 6 first downs in those 3 games. This year, through 3 games, that number is 0. I think for the last 2 weeks, the back injury has changed how Winston plays, and not in a good way. He's playing like a guy who's hurt, and it's hard to win like that. It might not be time to make a quarterback change yet, but right now, the clock is ticking. And at number 1, there's just no sugarcoating this. The Saints' offense was a disorganized mess on Sunday. These are the Saints' first 6 possessions. The 6 first-half possessions, offensive penalties, killed drives, 1, 4, and 5. In those 6 possessions, they had 10 second-down plays. On 8 of those 10, they ran it. Way too predictable. They got 0 first downs on those runs, and they were constantly in a 3rd and long situation. And get this, they have already lost 4 fumbles this season. Last year, and that's in 3 games. Last year in 17 games, they lost just 5 fumbles all year. Their 9 giveaways are the most in the NFL. Last year, they only gave it away 18 times in 17 games. They were the 6th best in the NFL at protecting the football in 21. They are the worst at it so far this season. So, it's an offense with predictable play calling and an injured quarterback that's killing itself with penalties and turnovers. Oh, and by the way, they're 4th in the NFL giving up sacks. It's a lot to fix. But remember, back in 2017, the Saints were also 1-2 when they got a season-changing win in London and won 8 straight. Let's pull for history to repeat itself. And that's my 4 takeaways from the loss in Charlotte.